Crypto presents exciting new opportunities for the investment-minded, but it's also volatile and accelerating in complexity. That's why we created Token Metrics, an intelligent crypto platform backed by an industry-leading combination of data, AI, and media that feeds optimized portfolios to crypto investors. Featuring Token Metrics ratings to help you find the best investment opportunities in real time, an indices page that showcases various model portfolios, and deep insights into price predictions and technical analysis. A dedicated NFT dashboard that evaluates NFT collections and assets by our machine learning algorithm to find the most profitable and secure NFTs across all available blockchains. Plus, with access to Token Metrics TV, monitor 24/7 exclusive crypto news and analysis. Whether you're a first-time trader or a seasoned crypto investor, you can stay informed and in control, backed by your all-in-one crypto companion, Token Metrics. Take control of crypto today at tokenmetrics.com.
We are live. Can you hear me out there? We are live. This is the Market Update. I'm your host, Bill Noble. This show is brought to you by Astra Society. If you need a roadmap in crypto, subscribe to this channel. Turn on alerts so you know when we're going live, because you never know. And if the content works for you, smash the like button. We are not giving up on 2,000 likes, but there's a condition. I always got to remember to share my screen. So if I'm sharing the screen, you're hitting the like button. All right, let's see who's on the stream first. I saw out of the corner of my eye the notorious Aiken first on the stream. Observer 47, Rugby Performance Lab is like, hey, I finally caught the stream on time. Cool, right? Let's go, Bill. Right on. Calgary, Florida, Augusta, Georgia. Welcome, right? Zach Blatstone is like, yeah, let's go. Let's do it. All right. Recon Man coming from the kingdom. Favorite part of the ice cream prepping at Johnny Ice Cream, right? This show is brought to you by Astra Society and Johnny Ice Cream. Okay. Somebody talking for 2,000 likes. We have Dana from Jersey. Welcome. Welcome. Right. All right. So somebody's keeping track of when we go on the air. Our friends from Belgium are here at night. Welcome. Trying to get on the air for our European friends. We have Saskatchewan, right? And Poland. Eastern Europe is here. Okay. Wall Street smoking hopium. That's Bob Marsh. And Tyson says, howdy, Bill. How about ETH at 500? Goodness. Well, whales do want to sell. And the question is, who does want to buy? I'm going to guess macro hedge funds. And if they don't want to buy, well, then King Dollar's going to get us. So here's what we're going to do today. Okay, we're going to do the news. And we're going to do something different. We're going to talk, ready? Politics. Don't laugh. Yeah, we're going to talk politics and how it affects. You know, some people like it, some people don't. But some people are like, hey, man, talk about politics and crypto. We're talking politics today. Okay, we're also going to do charting of layer ones. I suspect what's going to happen with the ETH merge is, I don't know. On Monday, the merge is great. On Tuesday, the merge is not working. On Wednesday, we should sell ETH. It's going to 500. On Thursday, it's going to 4,000. And I suspect there's going to be a lot of back and forth between now and September. What I can do is get you ready. So, news with a twist. I already told you what the twist was. Don't go anywhere. We're going to have PowerPoint market update where we're going to look at charts of layer ones, particularly off tokenmetrics.com. Okay. And then we're going to have live TA. All right. So let's get into the news right now. Okay. So the Ethereum merge has an official kickoff date. Okay. The final upgrade will be on September 6th. Wow, who's been talking about September 6th? Isn't that the day after Labor Day when all the fund managers come back from the beach? These guys must be watching the show. Hey, Vitalik, hit the like button. Come on, man. All right. The merge itself will be completed at some point between the 10th and the 20th of September, hopefully with tons of FOMO in between. Now, check this out. Ethereum whales moving holdings onto exchanges before the merge. Okay, so whales want to sell. Not exactly a positive development unless somebody takes it from them. So the whales are probably looking to sell as the market goes up. And the question is, as whales sell, as fear rises, does anyone come in and take it from them? A lot of Bitcoin whales sold below 20. I'm not saying whales don't know what they're doing, right? Not saying that. But what I am saying is I'm wondering if the whales get out before the merge, that creates like the final dip, right? If everybody goes, you know what? I'm done. I'm going to the beach. Remember I said that? So maybe it's not fund managers. Maybe it's whales. Go ahead, boys. Please sell, because we as technical analysts and viewers of a TA show and more, right? We want to see who's down there. Who's down there at the bottom? Who's going to catch the crypto that these guys are going to sell? Okay. Why is Tesla stock so much cheaper today? Wow. You're right. Well, there was a stock split. That means, if you have 5 shares at 100, right? You now have, if you have 100 shares at a certain price, you now have twice the number of shares at half the price. So your wealth has changed. It has not changed. So everyone's like, oh, wow, Tesla stock is on sale because they did a stock split. Okay. They did a 3-for-1 stock split. So everybody woke up and it's like, Tesla's really cheap. Well, it's actually not cheap. It's the same market cap. It's the same structure. It just looks cheap. Wow. Gee, Tesla does a 3-for-1 stock split right after they do student loan forgiveness. Oh, that's convenient, right? Get everybody FOMOing into tech stocks. Okay, speaking of that, right? Zero Hedge says, which meme stonk will the $300 billion of student loan relief go into first? Oh, such a bunch of salty guys, right? Hey, they have a point, right? Guys sitting home in their basement get student loan relief. They're going to chase meme stonks. I kind of hope they do crypto. That's what I hope. I hope somebody says, you know what? I need a hedge against inflation. Okay. My point on Twitter is, don't do it. Don't do meme stonks. Do crypto. All right. Baby Shark's second NFT collection will go live on August 31st. Okay. Art and stocks are not correlated. Okay. So anybody who gets that is probably trying to get their NFTs to the market. Okay. Now, back to student loans. Biden to cancel $10,000 in student debt. Low-income students are eligible for more. So you have down here, okay, so anybody who earns less than 125, and those who received Pell Grants for low-income families. Okay. So the Democratic Party has a history of trying to support basically lower-income people, and this is their attempt to do that. Okay. Now, of course, they're trying to give people relief because 45 million people owe approximately 1.6 trillion. Now, on Twitter, you're going to see criticism of this, right? They're like, well, it's not fair to people who have to pay. Educational institutions can just continue to raise prices, etc. The real problem with this is that they waited too long. This should have been a COVID stimulus plan, right? Come out, COVID, go, okay, student loans forgiven. Now, that was a different president, okay, but, there's different ways to do this. I also think that they should allow the students to discharge the debt in bankruptcy, right? In other words, if you're so trapped you can't get out, let the student file bankruptcy. Yeah, there's consequences to your credit on that. All right. But when Uncle Sugar gets involved, yes, some people get some help, right? You would think they would have good intentions, right? But it is an election year. So I can understand if you're cynical about handing out sugar before an election. Now, if they are handing out sugar before an election, does that make you trust or not trust governments, right? Ronald Reagan used to say, the most dangerous sentence that there is I'm from the government and I'm here to help. Well, I'm from Token Metrics and I'm here to tell you that when governments act like this, it has to be crypto positive. So people have to sell, right? I can barely control myself with ETH at 1700. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to miss it. And then I see the articles about the whales. Okay, then here's another interesting article. Facebook and Twitter will soon be obsolete thanks to blockchain technology. Wow, you mean Web 3 is going to be better than Web 2? Well, okay. Then why is everyone bearish? Why is everyone selling, right? Everyone is selling. Everyone is bearish. The market goes quiet and everyone's like, ETH's going to 800. Okay. Now, let's talk about politics and let's talk about why it matters. Okay. So this is an article from a group called The Hill. Okay. And they say it's the media myth of democratic momentum. So to review, in November, the United States is going to have its election for Congress, right? That's basically our parliament, which has two houses to it, or two divisions, two parts. Now, because of gas prices, inflation, and, you name it, the Democratic Party, which is Joe Biden's party, is said to be in trouble. Okay. Then there was a Supreme Court ruling that you would think would favor the Democrats. Okay. And, the media, which is considered pro-Democrat all the time. Okay. So the New York Times says Democrats enter the fall armed with something new, hope. Democrats are starting to see a path to victory, Vanity Fair. Jubilant Senate Democrats head home with momentum. That's Jeff Bezos and the Washington Post. Now, one thing this article points out is that, Joe Biden's approval rating is pretty low. Okay. So it may be wishful thinking. People regarding this Supreme Court ruling, it may not be top of mind. So people may be overestimating how much that can impact the election. That's not our game. But what is our game is this. Okay. In 2010, President Obama, who was a rock star, okay, his polling was better than Biden's is today. And his party lost 63 seats in the congressional elections or the midterm elections that are coming up in November. Okay. His polling showed that the Republicans only had a 2-point edge in the summer of last year. So Barack Obama, a rock star, okay, the Republicans gained congressional seats, even though the Republicans only had a 2-point lead. Now, Joe Biden, who is, probably got some interesting public speaking issues and is a victim of, 12 years of the Fed indiscriminately printing, is not exactly a rock star. He's definitely not Barack Obama. Now, why am I telling you all this? Well, the media wants you to think that the Democrats can do well. Okay. And of course, we can't predict these things, but when we go over to the market update, right, when we do a fast PowerPoint transition here, okay. So here's the article about the Democrats. Now here's the money chart. In 1994, Bill Clinton was president. Bill Clinton is a Democrat, okay. And at the time, 93, 94, the Fed was hiking rates. Like, it was a bond market crash. Literally, it was a crash. Okay. The Fed hiked rates and everybody was long bonds and the bond market blew up and interest rates went to the moon. Now, while that happened, stocks went sideways, right? Now, it was kind of a brutal sideways move. You can't tell by looking at this chart, but in this rectangular area is where stocks went sideways while bonds crashed while the Fed tightened. Then when the Fed was done tightening, okay, and the bond market, interest rates stopped rising, look what stonks did. Okay, right after the election in 94, stonks went vertical, right? Bottom left to top right. Now, of course, the internet, the PC, all that stuff was coming. But when there's a Democratic president and a tightening cycle comes to an end or a pause, and the Republicans gain traction in Congress, risk assets in the past have liked that. Now, why would they like it in this case? Well, most likely, if the Republicans are in power, the Democrats won't be able to hand out any more sugar. Okay. That would at least keep a lid on inflation and maybe allow the Fed to be less ballistic. Maybe. Okay. A Republican Congress would also probably stop any changes in capital gains taxes or wealth redistribution. Right. So I don't care if you like red or I don't care if you like blue. I just care that when a tightening cycle comes to an end, and if the Republicans gain congressional seats on the Democratic president, the last time that happened, the markets went up. Okay, so when are we going to trade that if that happens? Well, my guess is we trade it in September. Ethereum whales are like, ooh, goody. They're going to trade it in September. They're watching the show. I want to sell. All right. So I think it's going to pay. It's going to matter for crypto while crypto is quiet to know and study who's going to win the congressional elections, right? To keep an eye on this. Like the media, right? The traditional media will tell you they will support the Democrats, right? The right-wing media, I don't know. That's like a pro-Trump group, right? And you don't have to like them or not like them, but these two groups will probably not give you factual information. The truth is somewhere out there in the middle, and you're going to have to actually dig that out there for themselves. Naturally, I'd be happy to help you with that. All right. So let's see if there's anybody cursing me off in the chat because I talked politics. Okay, we have Slovenia here. Okay. Somebody wants to get to 2,000 likes. Okay. Bill, is there anything to all this helium FUD? Okay, well, I think helium FUD is just FUD. Our guys still like helium. Okay, I know Multicoin Capital still likes helium. Bob Marsh says Democrats are done. Okay, somebody talking about burning down police stations. Somebody says Microsoft saved Clinton. Okay, what about the Mt. Gox FUD? All right. So I think when it comes to Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin has not been able to go anywhere because Celsius is selling and because people have been, the Mt. Gox crowd has been hedging all the Bitcoin that may come in. So Mt. Gox FUD is kind of like Tether FUD. It's everywhere. I get it, right? If the market cracks and people panic, it would be bad. The thing is, somebody is hoovering up Bitcoin at 20. Somebody is. Right? Abu Dhabi is here. Welcome. Right? Scorpio in the house, like that. South Carolina is here. Crypto Crazy says, don't get me started. Right? We have Boston here. Welcome. Okay. Along with Long Beach, California. All right. Let's continue. Let's rock on with the market update. Somebody said, hey, dummy, take a look at GMX. So I did. GMX obviously had a huge move, derivatives with good tokenomics. Support is at 37.20. Okay. I think that you've got to start looking at other altcoins to get a cue on what's really going to happen with the merge, right? The altcoin sort of what they call in equities, the bottom up approach. In other words, top down is look at Bitcoin and ETH, the big stuff. Bottom up is to look at the small coins. So GMX didn't spend any time above 45.63. Now, again, this trade's probably gone in terms of like being able to get a 300% return out of it. But if GMX does take out 4563, that could be a good sign for the market. Okay, obviously in ETH, we've got 3 levels to focus on. We have 1867, which I was like, oh my God, please don't go there without me. Naturally, as soon as I said that, ETH went back down. 1752 is kind of like a pivot. And if whales decide to sell, I don't know, you could get 1656. These are just levels to watch. Now, let's talk about the other layer ones. Is there such a thing as a hedge for the ETH merge? In other words, you just got to think that when the merge comes out, there could be huge moves across the crypto space. Seriously. I mean, if it works, great. If whales sell, Celsius panics in Bitcoin, Mt. Gox, I don't know, right? There's going to be a huge amount of money movement during this time period. So let's just take a look at what's going on with the layer ones that people think are either a hedge or they could benefit if ETH 2.0 is a flop. So this is near. On the far right, we have 637 as resistance. Now, when I went to the near trading view chart over here, I noticed that since September of last year, right, near got above 6. It traded in this huge range between 6 and 20, and it never went back inside the range. It never went back inside this huge zone where, you know, frankly, there was probably a lot of accumulation and some FOMO. So I think if near is going to be for real, it's got to take out this 637 level. And if it can get back into this range, then, you know, near, I don't know, as people are voting, you know, because it is just like Ethereum 2.0 in terms of how it works. It just doesn't have the adoption or the people building on it. Okay. Polkadot, can't stop talking about it, right? 688 is support. I'm talking to some of our guys this morning, and I'm like, can you believe Polkadot's at 7? I mean, when ETH comes out, when all is said and done, unless it's a disaster, even if it is a disaster, everybody's talking about Web3 and nobody's talking about how blockchains get connected to each other. Interoperability. No one's talking about Polkadot. Well, okay, I say that every stream, and I'm just going to go right on saying it every stream. It's kind of like the reverse of sell in May and go away. Okay, now Solana. What is going to happen to Solana when the ETH merge comes out? Well, I mean, Solana's got a mobile phone application, an operating system, which I'm studying. Okay, technically, it seems to be like aimless. Like $35, $36 is like a pivot. It could go to 40 or it could go to 29, depending on how it behaves at 36. Okay, everyone hates Solana. So here's a guess on how this is going to work. The ETH merge will come out, right? And ETH either wins or loses. There could be a big dip in things like Solana. People will be like, oh, this is my big chance to kill it. And I'm wondering if the strategy is to try to fade any move that happens in these other layer ones. Like if they kill Solana, buy it and it'll come back to 35. Or near, if they spike it up to 7 or 8, it might come back down to 6. It might be an environment where you want to fade people's emotions right off the trade. You may want to fade people's emotions up until the trade, right? Because obviously there's nothing much going on in this market, so which is a perfect time to do planning. Now, Phantom, okay, a little green candle today trying to show some sign of life, hits 31 cents. That support, it's hung around 31 cents before. That was the takeoff point in the summer of last year during, you know, the layer one FOMO days. Okay. It's funny in crypto, the difference a year makes. If somebody decides they like Phantom, right, 38 cents is possible. Now, why would somebody like Phantom? Why? Like, why would somebody go, oh, gee, Phantom is good? Or did oh, there it is, KDA. You always got somebody on the show asking for TA on KDA, right? What about fast layer ones? What about layer ones that have kind of a niche to it, right? Like everyone always talks about the big ones. What if the layer ones that do well after the merge, what if it's ETH and the small ones? What if it's not the big caps? I mean, maybe it's Polkadot and ETH, but what happens if it's the small ones that do better? A lot of people think the small ones are just going to get wiped out. All right, well, we'll find out. 155 to 159. Oh, I'm sorry, 155 to 199 is kind of like, looks like the range that KDA is trapped in. If it broke 199, the next level is 243. So if you're really into this coin, you want to see it hold 155. Okay, Secret Network. Okay, Ian Bellina talked about this yesterday on our premium webinar, right? So, Zcash is to Bitcoin as Secret is to Ethereum on the privacy front, a layer one with a lot of development. We saw this at Consensus. Okay, really interesting, really interested to see how this performs, right? If there is a dip to $1.11, right? This thing was as high as 149 during the ETH 2000 FOMO move. So again, I think you fade the moves in the big coins and you may go with the moves in the smaller coins if the trend starts. I mean, it's not just going to be ETH, but it may be ETH and the niche plays. Because I don't hear anybody talking about setting up a portfolio that way. People are just like, yeah, I want to buy ETH, AVAX, Solana and Near. I'm like, okay, well, to a certain degree, isn't that all the same thing? Well, it's not all the same thing. We know that, but it's like you've got all your money invested in one sector. I'm also interested in FTX. This is highly correlated to ETH. This little statistic comes from tokenmetrics.com. I cut and pasted off the correlation page. So obviously, if ETH does well, Binance Coin and FTX stand to benefit along with Elrond and Bitcoin. So if ETH goes up, knowing what can go with ETH may be handy, right? So we've already come up with a couple of plans, right? Fade any emotion in big coins, buy breakouts in small coins, right? And know what's correlated with ETH so that if ETH goes up, it dips, and then it starts rallying, okay, then we'll know. Know what you want to get into on dips and breakouts. And that is the market update. All right, let's see what we got out there. All right, Florida is here. Welcome. Right, Northeast New Jersey is in the house. 2 people from Jersey. Welcome. Okay, yeah, somebody likes the background art. That is like New York City with a little red hue. Going to see if we can get that more in the picture. Okay, little Notorious Love from Portugal. Okay, somebody saying, wonder exactly when to get in. Do you think Labor Day will set new lows? Okay. So that's some serious crystal ball-ish type stuff. Okay. I think people are going to sort of be afraid. They're going to want to get out. Big players will, because they're afraid the merge could go bad, or they know something we don't. So, they could smash the market before Labor Day, or maybe it's just a polite dip. So when do you get in? Well, you get in if they give you a dip. It can pay to be patient. Don't forget the old saying in equities, don't go long into a long weekend, right? Tesla tried to do a stock split to try to pump the stock market, and that's not working this morning. Although I do think if the stock market smells an end to Fed tightening and a Republican Congress, that rally could happen in September, and crypto could follow stonks. I can't believe I just said that, but that's possible. Now, am I drinking too much Kool-Aid? Maybe, right? But I would rather drink some Kool-Aid now and be ready for a rally than be sitting here on September 10th going, gee, I missed it. What should I do now? I don't want that. Okay. Is Bitcoin a hedge or not? The debate is on from Wrong Again. Okay. We have Estonia in the house. Now, is Bitcoin a hedge against inflation? Okay. Bitcoin and crypto are a hedge against inflation once the Fed stops going ballistic, right? So if you have 3.5% rates or 4% rates, you have 5% inflation, right? and you have a Fed whose hands are tied, because we went all through this yesterday's video, right? You know, Europe's going to freeze over the winter. Americans all have 2 jobs now. Americans are taking out credit cards. Americans are behind on their power bills. You know, there's all this kind of, you know, disaster news. I mean, how can the Fed continue to jam rates higher in that environment? Okay, so I've been talking about that. I'm going to stop talking about that and start talking about what happens if crypto, okay, if crypto becomes the hedge against inflation, right? If inflation is, you know, less than 10%, but persists, people are like, oh my God, I got to own crypto. I mean, there's a Bitcoin ATM player that's going public next year, right? That was in our news. I figured I'd fit it in now, right? So we have Estonia here. Okay, somebody is happy that they caught the stream. I'm glad that you're here. Okay, someone's asking about AMP. Okay, we can look into that. Let's go to live TA. Okay, Crypto Crazy says nobody is getting relief from anything. Okay, because, you know, all the government does is transfer the burden from one party to another. All right. Okay, I remember I took this class in business school. Okay, it was back in 2001, 2000. It was from the director of the program, and he said basically it was an 8-hour final on a computer, which, you know, back then was a big deal. Huge keyboards that made tons of noise. We all wore earplugs. He said if you didn't know the answer to a question, you could put basically government is stupid as your answer, and that would be considered like a B. Now, the guy was right. I mean, governments make mistakes. Recessions are caused by mistakes governments make. Inflation is caused by mistakes governments make, right? Because they're the ones who print the money. Money is first and foremost a monetary phenomenon. Okay, so this is AMP, right? Huge rally up, huge rally down. I don't know. When I look at altcoins, you know, I don't like what I call double spikes. Now, maybe this doesn't count as a double spike because of the give up trade, but I'm always leery when I see these really big spikes and then they come back down again. Okay, Halifax is here. Welcome. Okay, someone says, done with government. Don't blame you. Okay. Zach Blackstone says, from one old dude to another, I appreciate your experience. Thank you. We experience people take this, you know, take YouTube seriously, right? Yeah, I want to get famous. Yeah, I want to go to crypto conventions and speak. But, you know, before we do that, okay, we got to get knowledge to people. We got to get people ready. We got people ready to get out. Now I'm kind of hoping we can get people ready to get in responsibly now. Responsibly. Okay. I saw something really funny. I can't pull it up here, but somebody says how to do student loan math. So he took the price of Bitcoin at 21K, put it into a spreadsheet. Then he said student loan forgiveness 10K. And then he added the 2 columns and said that means Bitcoin should be at 31K. Now, I'm known for my outside the box spreadsheet math, but I got to admit, I wish I thought of that, right? I wish I thought of that. Seriously. Okay, so somebody is asking, somebody says Rose is a keeper. Okay, and let's try to do BRISE first. Okay. Okay, so it looks like we got a new hot coin. All right, and if we go to a 4-hour chart, you know, it's the same TA clinic that we kind of had over the last couple of days, right? Did my coin hold 62% retracement on the dip? And this did. So let me label this. Okay. So when's the best time to look at crypto? When no one's looking at crypto. Seriously. Like, that's the other thing. Like, we appreciate y'all for being here, but like, everyone's gone to the beach. It's the dog days of August. I get it, but people may be missing out on opportunities, right? Somebody said Rose is a keeper. Okay, I know we do like this. Token Metrics analysts do like Rose. Okay, I mean the way I'm doing Rose is, I'm watching this fib speed resistance fan line. Okay, let's see if I can minimize this. Okay, so let's see, just for sake of TA education, let's see if I can recreate what I drew here. Okay, so the fib speed resistance game. Okay, you got to find a high that matters and a low that matters, right? And you just got to see how the market reacts to the points that you've drawn. So, here it took out a diagonal line, and that was the bigger the base, the higher in the space, and it broke out. Now we're kind of doing a dance around the line. Okay, we're doing a dance, right? I am definitely into this transaction, the privacy transaction narrative. I'm definitely into it. Okay. TrueBit, please. Okay. Let's see if I can call that up here. Okay, not seeing TrueBit. Okay, now one thing I also wanted to do, okay, because art and stocks are not correlated, and because we're talking politics today, is I wanted to do something crazy. I wanted to go to the Token Metrics NFT page. This is our NFT grading page. So obviously we have Bored Ape here at, as a very high grade at 80. And I just went browsing through here and I'm like, look at this. Now it's only got a 64% grade, but I went to World of Women. And I'm like, wow, that's interesting. Let's go check out World of Women on OpenSea. So it looks like, the floor price is 2.7 ETH. Okay. Now, the net of this, right? This is a community celebrating inclusiveness, equal opportunity. Okay, a first of its kind collection. All right, and then there's the new official collection, World of Women Galaxy. Now, so this ranks high. It's based on AI and machine learning. And then you're like, okay, Bill, well, isn't that yesterday's trade? And I'm like, is it? There's this person in US politics called Liz Cheney. Okay. She's the daughter of a famous defense secretary and vice president, Dick Cheney. And Liz Cheney has got to be the most unpopular Republican ever. Right? Maybe other than Donald Trump, but Liz Cheney is unpopular within the Republican Party to the point where she's loved by the Democratic Party. Why? Well, because she doesn't like Donald Trump and she thinks Donald Trump did a lot of things wrong. And, she was vocal and used her congressional seat to get after him. Okay. So somebody is saying you are almost the only person who understands market crypto. Most YouTubers are moon boys or taxi drivers that got some luck. All right. Well, I appreciate that. I'm a firm believer that the best research wins. Price is a function of a set of information. And he who knows the set of information the best wins. Now back to Liz Cheney. So thank you for that love. Liz Cheney is super unpopular. She's so unpopular that, she got kind of voted out of office early. In other words, the Republican Party, she lost what they call the primary. So she's not even going to be able to defend herself from her Democratic challenger because the Republicans were like, you're out. from the state of Wyoming, which is pretty much a very pretty state where you go to hunt a moose. Okay. Now, let me ask you something. What happens if you wake up one day and Liz Cheney says, you know what, I'm going to switch parties or I'm going to endorse such and such a candidate? What happens if women become the focus or women's rights become the focus of the upcoming election? Now, is it a stretch to look at World of Women NFTs in front of an election? Yeah, probably. But if art and the economy are not correlated, okay, why not start looking for art? Now, that's my version of NFT research. Your version of NFT research may be different, right? But do some NFT research, right? Find some art, because, you know, there's NFT news every single day that's out there. Okay. Okay. Jerry says Liz Cheney is the only brave Republican left. Okay. So, right. Somebody else says, okay, somebody who has a great handle. It's called Pelosi's Portfolio. Nancy Pelosi is the Speaker of the House, who loves to kind of like sling call options around before they stopped Congress from trading their PA. It's pretty funny, right? So somebody else says Liz Cheney is no Republican. All right. Now, you're going to have social division in the United States, a lot of it in November, right? Social disorder is possible. Everybody's talking about social disorder in Europe because of cold temperatures. I actually want to go the other way. I feel sorry for the Europeans, but I don't know if they're going to engage in social disorder. They might have strikes. I think it's more likely that there's social disorder in the United States over the election. And again, that just enhances the idea of crypto forever. Okay, so we covered AVAX earlier. Be happy to do it again. We covered that from Token Metrics point of view. All right, let's try something different. Let's try looking at a 2-week chart in Avalanche. Ooh, and I got the Fibonacci circle. I got the Fibonacci circle lines on this chart. Uh-oh, we start playing around. Okay, so AVAX is kind of in no man's land.
Not sharing screen.
Not sharing the screen. Busted. Busted. Please hit the like button anyway. Busted. Okay, so this is something you never draw, which is why I draw it. Okay, it's a 2-week chart of Avalanche. Okay, why look at a 2-week chart? Well, it's because no one else does. I got this from some super smart guy on Twitter who I used to work with. All right, now, interesting that in the last 2-week period, okay, there was a pi cycle bottom in Avalanche. And one of the things you do with the Fib circles is, you know, it's just like the Fibonacci extension. Let me see if I can do it live. It's kind of brave of me. Let me see if I can pull it off. So you basically find a low and you find a high, right? And I know there's all kinds of settings in here where you can show different kinds of circles. But, you know, right here after Avalanche came out of this circle, it kind of broke down. Right, it went up and then it went down. And now I'm hoping with this chart, right, that Avalanche is going to go down. That's this 2-week period. And then who knows, it might go up. Right? This might be like one of the merge winners. And last period.
People aren't seeing the screen still. Could you try sharing another window?
All right, let's try sharing it again. All right, are you seeing it there? All right, I think people are seeing it now. So let's start over. Okay, let's draw some Fib circle action. So here's the Fib circle indicator. Click that. Find a low, find a high, and see what you get. Okay. Now, depending on how you want to do this, on the 2-week chart, you've got a pi cycle bottom, and you've got Avalanche sitting near a Fib circle line. Okay, there can be big moves like here when it just sort of moved through it sideways This was the giant failed rally, right? Remember, beware the failed rally? Seems like forever ago, right? Beware the failed rally. That was at the end of March. Now, I think it's don't short the quiet market. Right? I know there's like don't go long into a long weekend, but that's not here yet. Don't short the quiet market. Right? That's the new thing. Right? This market is like so boring, it's painful, right? Like ETH is up 3%. That's good. It'd be better if it was above 1752, but again, okay, now let's just while we're at it, let's see what ETH looks like on a 2-week chart. Oh my God, I went out of my mind with the fib circles here. Okay. So here's a fib circle chart in ETH. Okay, so that's a 2-week period. This is the 2-week chart. So not a lot of interesting fib circle activity there, as I'm literally just like drawing this live. Okay, so this is 2-week. Okay, and note, look at this. See this moving average? That's that 60 period exponential moving average. Okay, except it's 62-week periods. I know that's chart. That's a brutal chart. Can you unshare it so I don't have to see it? Okay. Well, I'd be happy to unshare it. Get it off the screen, right? And it's not a pretty chart exactly because it can't get above the moving average, but I'm asking myself, what happens if it does? In other words, sometimes the market will go to resistance and then it will kind of hang out just below it. And if it does that, all right, what happens when it finally breaks through resistance? In other words, back in the bull market, something would go to resistance and then it would sit there and, you know, the trade location, the thing to do would be to actually buy it before it broke out. Because once it broke out, you can't figure out like, oh, gee, I want to buy it on support. And everyone's like, oh, okay, it broke out. Where's support? And I'm like, you know, I don't know where support is because it's mooning. Now that may be a little bit too bold. Okay, somebody is encouraging you to smash the like button. Okay, please do that. We would appreciate it. We got to eat. Okay, somebody is asking about ETH Classic. Where are all the Ethereum miners going to go? Let's check it out. Will ETH Classic rise from the ashes? This is ETH Classic on a daily chart. Let's see if I can get this going. Not sharing the screen.
No change.
Oh God, so much for my 2,000 likes. Gonna have to do some. So we're gonna have to do a giveaway of like, I don't know, memory vitamins. All right, ETH Classic. Well, obviously, people know where the 60-day moving average is. The 60-day exponential moving average. Okay, and they just want it. They just want it. Where are these miners going to go? I don't know. Is there going to be a proof of work ETH airdrop? Right? Have these ETH Classic developers been developing and developing and developing? Who knows? Maybe this is like the day they've been waiting for. I don't know. I do know that the Williams oscillator down here, okay, like I do know that when you get this oscillator real close to zero, you can see big moves. Right? You saw a big move right here on the Williams oscillator when it was hanging out, you know, right around where it is right now. So I don't know if they mooned ETH Classic, where would it go? I mean, you know, we got time here. Let's check it out. So ETH Classic has been as high as, you know, I don't know, 110 above the 60-day. And if we tried to do some fib speed resistance lines, what would we see? Okay, what would we see? Well, not anything on this one. Let's see if I can move it down to here and see what I get. Okay, so this seems to make more sense, right? ETH Classic has got resistance at 37.20. Now, I think the point from this is, I kind of look at ETH Classic and I go, oh, God, could I just get the proof of work ETH airdrop instead? Okay. In environments like this, one of the things that can happen is the stuff that everyone hates goes up and the stuff that everyone loves goes down. I've seen that before. Now, I know that's contradictory to what I've been saying about, thinking that this is going to be like the dawn of a mega rally in ETH, but it could be the dawn of an insane rally in Ethereum Classic too. That's why I think TA, and frankly, talking my book, staying tuned into the show, okay, and staying tuned in to Token Metrics so you could read those quant resistance levels, right? I just think that's where the money is before and after the merge, right? So if this thing's breaking out, it's just, what, hey, while we're at it, let's, some people seem to like this the other day, right? People seem to like it the other day. Let's go check out Token Metrics. Let's just do the Ethereum Classic quant level demo. Like I saw somebody's like, hey man, we like the walkthrough. I'm like, all right, let's do a walkthrough. Let's do it. Okay, so Ethereum Classic, everything is not really doing well on the grade, right? It's because the market doesn't have any upside momentum. Okay. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm bringing up the complete history of Ethereum Classic, which of course goes way, way, way back. So I can see all of the support and resistance lines. Like, like, oh my God, Bill, that's a huge mess. So I have to use this axis. I have to click my mouse like on the 30 and like stretch it out, then use the mouse wheel, right? Not great technical levels, not exactly the best computer functionality, but that's okay because the harder it is to dig out the information in technical analysis, the better it is. So 38 was support.
Bill, can you do it in dark? People prefer dark mode.
Okay. All right. So switching to dark mode, in case you're watching me on a TV, you're not blinded. All right. So if ETH Classic is above 37, 40 is next. Note how it stopped at 44. Okay. So I'm thinking, that this was real emotional. And if ETH Classic is going to be the real deal, okay, it's got to take out that 44 level because there's been failures at 44 and there's been failures at 50. Now let's go back to Trading View. Okay, so what we did was we looked at a weekly chart, and then this is literally how I like break stuff down, right? So I'll say, all right, here's a 4-hour chart. And then let's like draw some retracements to see if we're getting any information from retracements. Okay. So here's an indication that people may mean business in ETH Classic, right? Let's try Elliott Wave. So, this seems like something like that, maybe. Okay. And why did I draw that? Well, because the only thing these guys could manage to do on the downside is get a retracement to the 33% retracement at 33. Right. So they had this uptrend. This is a 4. Maybe we'll go to 8-hour on this. Okay. Maybe 8-hour is better. So this is the Ethereum Classic 8-hour chart. So I'm looking at this. I'm like, all right, well, I don't really like this, but you know what? Don't get dogmatic on the merge. Okay. Oh my God. People are asking for TA on Astra. Okay. I am hesitant to do TA on Astra because I own Astra. Okay. But we can take a look at the chart. So this is a level where people are saying, you know what? Maybe my hedge for the merge is ETH Classic. Okay, now. Here it comes. TA on Astra. Okay, I'm going to share the screen. All right, so obviously I've paid some attention to this chart. Trying not to pay too much attention because trying to hodl, right? So let's bring up a 4-hour chart. Actually, probably got to go to 30-minute, maybe a 1-hour chart. Okay. All right. So, as I understand it, the tokenomics of this, right? You can create and invest in your own indices. Ian Bellina did this huge Astra DAO AMA. So yesterday, so that's like old school Ian Bellina. So make sure you go check out that video. Maybe you could drop a link to that video in the description. Okay, so what I've noticed happens in these small coins, right, is that they come out, then they do some sort of a range. Sometimes they do a deeper retracement, like that's what Synthetics did. This looks like it's creating like a rectangle, right? Now, if people start building indices, that builds demand for the token. They've launched staking. Okay. And I think the only question I have about this chart is, what is this? Like, is that a 2-wave? Right? In other words, is it one up and then sideways and then it takes off? Or is this one of these things where honestly, some hot altcoin comes out, everybody buys it, and then it gets dropped? So like any other altcoin, you want to be careful of the double spike. You don't want to see all the way up, all the way down, and then it trades, and you don't want to see all the way up, all the way down. Now, the good news is, for the moment, this is not acting like that. The question is that sideways range a 2-wave? My guess is you'll know soon. You'll know soon, because if it's going to go, then it'll go. Right? Now, if it doesn't go, then it's probably just in the long, long list of everybody waiting for the ETH merge. Because as I understand how this works is, you can use these things to invest in indices. Indices you create, indices created with the help of Token Metrics AI, etc. So, I mean, it's going to be a robust bull market product. So if it's a September to remember, right, and it's not ETH only, right, like this token may do better if it's in across the board. Remember I was talking about like maybe smaller layer ones would do better. So if smaller cap or mid cap cryptos do well off the ETH merge, then you'll get the answer to what that rectangular thing is. And just to add this, I do own these tokens, and everything I just said is not investment advice. It is analysis of a chart. I drew a box. That's it. Okay. I drew a box. Okay. All right. John Smith, it looks like somebody's coming from a Pepsi truck. So we have a UPS truck. We have somebody who drives on the New Jersey Turnpike. And now I believe we have somebody driving in a Pepsi truck. All right. All right, folks, that looks like it for today. I want to thank everybody who came in, right? I want to thank everybody who's going to watch this video later. Okay, we are trying to hold on. We are hanging on to our viewers. We know y'all are out there. We know that the core group, and we appreciate you. Time to get ready for the merge. So let's sum it up. Okay. Fade the emotional moves in the big layer ones. Watch the small layer ones for breakouts. Okay. Speed may matter, right? Speed was like, oh, it's fast last year. Speed may matter again. Privacy is going to matter. I just can't believe post-merge, pre-election, privacy is not going to matter, but who knows? Maybe I'm just wrong about that. I'm kind of willing to die on that hill, right? I'm just looking for those coins because I don't think privacy will be for pirates. It'll be for regular people. And believe it or not, if you're in crypto, you're going to have to follow politics, right? Because a balanced government, like a Democratic president and a Republican Congress, is good for risk assets. It's also good for stopping inflation because they can't hand out sugar. Okay, so that's it for today, folks. I will be back here tomorrow. That's the market update. We'll see you soon.